Hey everybody, this is Alzorath, and welcome to InReview. Originally I was going to do my first sort of non-gameplay episode after the Gamer Fi episode on just basically strategy such as laning and stuff like that. But as discussions on the forums have evolved, I think probably it's best that I start off with my InReview episode because I've been playing a lot of this game, most of it not recorded because, well, it's grinding for gold, but I'm going to get into that later. Now, in this InReview, it's going to be covering not so much the specific balances of the colors or anything like that. Instead, I'm going to focus on the pros and cons of the game. Now, as you can see in the background, if I'm using the footage I'm creating right now, it's going to be just the little entry screen, and you have the chat room. I really like the chat room setup where you can be in multiple channels at once and it's not a problem. And usually I have more channels than this open whenever I'm just sitting here. But the game itself has a lot of good features and a lot of features that I really enjoy, but it also has a lot of features that kind of bother me and could be improved just by some quick changes. So let's just start off with the most basic stuff. That is the store system. Now, as I said in the Gamer Fi, it is really easy to get gold. The issue is it's really hard to use that gold effectively outside of trading. Unless you want to spend a lot of time in a trading room, you're going to have a bit of difficulty getting a playset. Now, this is a quote-unquote trading card game, so you can expect some trading. It's just a little bit. I wish either this section was expanded to be either every 24 hours or every 2 days or something like that, where it cycled a little bit quicker. That way you could get more specific cards. The Just For You section would be a good method to allow people to gather specific cards at a cost, because it does give you 2 rare, 2 uncommon, and 2 common. Maybe even expand it to more cards. Or in addition to this, they could have a common library where basically all the common cards are purchasable individually for a given price, say 150 or 200 gold. That way you know specifically what you're getting, because as it stands, I get a flood of common cards, and honestly on the market they're not worth my time, because I'd rather spend the time actually playing the game. And I don't have time to grind up for the gold for 3 of every single rare whenever some of them are up to 1,500, 2,000 gold, which is 2 scroll packs. So yeah, the grinding is a little bit of a problem, and I wish there was more accessibility for building your decks. I know that the pre-constructed decks are there. That actually would be an option for a cash out. If they would let you buy more than one, you could buy those, transfer them into gold using the sell option and do it that way. It would be a lot more expensive and a lot more time consuming. And honestly, I wouldn't ever use it personally, but it is an option. But yeah, the Just For You section could definitely use a revamping. Make it a little faster, make it a little easier to get the stuff in there. I agree with the prices in there. They're perfectly fine. So we could be looking at that. I do wish there were some more options up here, and as far as scroll packs go, maybe have a more expensive version where you could buy a higher level order scroll for say 350 gold, and it would guarantee an uncommon or a rare. Just a thought there. Just something so that the harder to get cards require a bit less grinding and a bit less time spent sifting through a trade chat. Because I like trading, but not to that level where it's necessary for everything you want if you're going to build a specific deck. Now, as far as the deck builder goes, I actually like it. There are a few little qualms I have. If we'll go ahead and load up here, I'll load up the massive deck. This is my WTF deck. It's got tons of cards in it. What would really help is if you could sort this bottom part, even if it's just by the same criteria as up top, name or cost. If you could sort the bottom, that'd be a great big help. Admittedly, you can search for cards, but that's only so much help. If you guys are wondering what this deck is for, it's called a bowling pin, and that's just using as many cards as you can. I don't have all the cards in the game, as you can tell, obviously, over here, so that's as close to a bowling pin as I'm going to get right now, and I've actually won a match with this, which is going to bring me up to a little bit more of a gameplay thing. The save deck, load deck, and everything like that is perfectly fine. Let's go ahead and go to the arena screen. They're going to be having tournaments. I would like a spectator mode. If it's in the works, please tell us. I find spectating matches, especially upper ranked matches and tournament matches, to be extremely useful. I do have a wish list that I've posted on other card game forums. No one's really taken it seriously, but as a caster, I do enjoy having certain access to things that would be really nice in broadcasting games live, even on Twitch. The quick match system is really good. I like the gold amount on there. It's less than against human players, but against AI, you can get a decent amount of gold if you go into hard difficulty and are playing a decent deck. It's a good way to farm if you're just not really wanting to deal with other players, or if you want the opponent to perform actions quickly. Against other players is a whole different dynamic. So the trial system, love it. I actually do enjoy this. I haven't gone through the hard ones. I just haven't tried them. I've been playing quick matches in PvP. I have a feeling I could get through most of these with my growth deck. I don't have all the cards I want to do it with energy or order right now. As it stands with the pre-constructed, you can actually get up into the medium. I did most of them with the medium difficulty, with the pre-constructed or a slightly modified pre-constructed. So you can get a decent amount of gold doing that. That's another definite plus. Now, another plus and negative set I'm going to have to look at is going to be the matches itself. I think I covered pretty much everything else I wanted to cover as far as here's your profile. This thing is fairly simple. There's no good or bad on this one. Avatars are just avatars. I'm not complaining about that. I do feel a little uncomfortable about having my scroll count and rarities listed, simply because it makes your account a target, but a lot of games offer stats nowadays, and that's not exactly a huge issue. I mean, I'm on YouTube, for goodness sake. You're going to know it anyway. Settings, perfectly fine for a game like this. There's not any huge issues there. There are some graphical issues some people have had that have brought to my attention, but I haven't encountered or been able to recreate any of them, so that's just... It's there, but it's rare. Most people don't have any bugs or any problems with this outside of the known problem with the Avast antivirus, which may or may not be a problem on Scroll's end. I don't think it probably is. I think it's more the oversensitivity of Avast, which isn't horrible. It's a decent antivirus for those of you who are interested in it. But that's another subject. Now, I'm going to jump into a quick match. I'm just going to do it against a medium opponent so we can talk about some things as far as the actual gameplay goes. I'm going to take my growth deck in, which is going to be part of the conversation, but I'm going to start off with what I really, really, really like about the growth combat system. Now, I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice that and just... We might not win this one because I'm distracted talking about the review rather than this. Now... What I like about the combat system is that positioning and strategy with the units that you get is very important. This is a nice change up from your traditional, well, pretty much standard trading card game, where positioning it on the field, with the exception of a few games such as Soul and... I'm forgetting the name of... There's two other ones that it's really important, and Cabals, and gosh, I'm not going to list off all of the games that this is important on, but positioning is important, and I really do enjoy that personally. I find it to be a very nice aspect that keeps me playing, because every game is going to be different. Even if you were to get the exact same creatures, you could play it out differently. It's very much a strategy game on top of a more luck-based trading card game. But as a recent topic on luck kind of brought forth, this creature-based centric kind of, you have to use creatures to win, because the only way to win is to destroy idols. You can't card out, you can't do any of this other stuff. You have to lose by losing 3 idols. That is the only way to lose, and the only way to do that really is with creatures. There are some spells that damage idols, but it's not enough to actually win the game, which is a real shame, because basically it turns the scrolls advantage where you can't get mana screwed in this game. You'll always be able to get resources, you'll always be able to get more cards, but if you get creature screwed, you can't control the board, your idols are open, and you're not going to be dealing the amount of damage that you need to be doing to actually stay competitive in that match. We're going to go ahead and intern there. And that's kind of a disappointment because it takes this, what would normally be a perk, and turns it into kind of a situation where it causes the game to stagnate. And that is saddening to me on several levels. Oh, crap. We're going to put that guy up front. But I'll go with that. But this creature reliance is the game's major weakness in PvP, and it's also one of the reasons why a lot of these such and such color is overpowered, such and such is underpowered kind of conversations come up. It's not so much that these different groups are overpowered or underpowered, it's just that certain ones dominate different parts of the game. If you get into a late game battle, an established energy is going to wreck anything. If you get into a mid-game battle with spiky units and basically durability and buffs, you're going to be losing to an order, whereas early game is easily ruled by growth. With the inclusion of other avenues to win, you could give energy an option to go after the idols early on to kind of throw the growth player off. But that option is not there. Instead, you have to rely on spells to control the field until you can get your heavy late game units out. With order, you have to control the field with your mid game units and their synergies. Let's go ahead and we will sacrifice that guy for some resources. Boom. Sorry. Getting distracted by the game. This is one reason why I was kind of on the fence about actually recording while talking about this. Let's go ahead and intern there. But unless they can introduce this alternate win condition, even if it's just as simple as making it so it's possible to run out of cards, which they'd have to increase your card pool and as such the number of copies of a card you can have in a deck, which makes the grinding even worse. But if you could card out, even if it's either that way or through only a certain number of rotations through your deck, then that would give an alternate win condition that would change strategies. You'd have delay decks. If you could change it to where you could cause a player to discard, you'd have at least indirect mill decks. If you could set it up where you could deal damage directly to the idols with spells, more than 1 or 2 damage at least, you could have direct damage decks. These things need to be introduced, otherwise this game will stagnate relatively easily. And I feel that's a real shame because there's a lot of potential here. I like the 5-lane system. I like the depth of positioning here as well, where you can hide units, where you can adjust units, where you can basically make it so where you play a unit is just as important, if not more important, than the unit itself. But right now, we certainly do not have that, and it's a shame. And I'm just wrecking this guy without even really paying attention. That's one of the disadvantages of the medium opponent. Usually when I'm first testing decks, I come in here. But anyway, moving on. We're not going to go into an in-depth balance discussion here. That's going to be for probably my laning video or something like that. What we are going to talk about is, of course, as I said, the disadvantage of no alternate win conditions and the creature screw method, which is basically you don't have any creatures, so you're screwed. It's just like being mana screwed in Magic the Gathering. These... go ahead. I messed up there. Let's go ahead and move up there. And we're 1 damage away from winning on just this turn. That's sad. I could have positioned it better. But I like the game, and I kind of regret that it's kind of gotten into a situation where it's going to stagnate unless they do something right. They've done something right in the basic design, but they haven't given it the follow-through or the alternate methods to actually make it long-term viable. And that disappoints me to no end, honestly. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. Really didn't mean to do that. Go ahead and put him there. Her there. Enter. Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. But yeah, I think that's about all I really want to say about the game right now. I might do a second in review or replace this one later, but I just wanted to really cover what I've felt about the game when it comes to how it's been presented here recently and how I've felt about it after a long amount of time of playing it. I've been playing it for a few weeks now. I've played it a lot, and I think I've experienced most of what the game has to offer. I've tried all the different colors. I've tried various strategies with them. While my cards are limited, I actually do have a 75% win rate just switching among the colors. So I think I know what I'm doing to an extent. It's just these things stick out at me as problems in the long term. But yeah, let's go ahead and play out the last of our cards. Make him big and beefy, and let's finish off our opponent. And that's the end of this little in review. Might be just a midterm in review, as we have not seen the Decay deck yet, so that might change everything. That might be the perfect color to splash to add some of these alternate win conditions, but I don't know yet. So we'll probably see another episode of this whenever the Decay deck releases, or a little bit after that, as I get used to what we're going to be looking at there. But until then, I'll be doing strategy videos explaining how to beat the AI on various difficulty levels in a slightly better method than I was before. And yeah, that's going to be the first in review of Scrolls. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Give your opinions on anything I brought up in this video, or your opinions on the game in general, down in the discussion below. And I look forward to seeing your input. I will reply to as many people as possible. And yeah, keep gaming, have fun, peace out. This has been Alzorath, and I will see you guys next time on Let's Play Scrolls. Bye.